It is 1:01. Good afternoon from the Superbook.com sports desk. I'm Lucas Panzica. The Titans fell to 7-5 with a 35-10 loss in Philadelphia yesterday. Could never get Derrick Henry going. 11 carries for 30 yards in a career day for Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts, going 29 of 39 for 380 yards and 4 total touchdowns. Titans head coach Mike Vrabel spoke after the game about this team being at a crossroads at this point in the season. He was asked to elaborate on that today in his media availability and on why he's confident that this team will be able to turn it around after back-to-back losses.
Because that's our job. That's what we've always done. I'm confident in this staff. I'm confident in the players, to make sure that we, figure out ways to win a football game.
Titans have signed free agent pass rusher Terrell Basham. According to multiple reports, he was released from the Dallas Cowboys just last week. Tennessee head coach Josh Heupel named the AP SEC Coach of the Year, and quarterback Hendon Hooker named the AP SEC Offensive Player of the Year. The Vols found out yesterday they will face Clemson in the Orange Bowl December 30th. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Man, it's an ugly day outside. It was an ugly day yesterday for the Tennessee Titans. Ugly, ugly, ugly. I know a bunch of y'all in the Zone. I'm reading the Zone TV messages from Buck's show. People are big mad. I was on Twitter. People are big mad. Here's the thing. We got Ding Dong of the Week in hour number 1, and there's no shortage of ding dongs. But we don't have a guest until hour number 2, John Glennon. So if there's something you're mad about and you want to sound off, 615-737-1045. That's the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. We are open for therapy today. You got anything you need to get off your chest? We got Dr. Hitman over here. He'll put you on the couch, psychoanalyze you. It's our show doctor, but also our show psychiatrist. So, we'll send him to medical school and psychiatry school. Give him a residency there. But you saw what you saw yesterday, Blaine. You played 10 years in the league. I know a lot of times on Monday after a game, win or lose, we always like to kind of get your thoughts, and you've had time to watch it, and usually you've watched it again.
Yep.
So there you go. You're right on schedule. Curious as we start today's show to get the get the thought process.
Wow. Well, this was really tough because I thought going into the game, the mindset would be to show you could play with the elite teams. And they started off not too bad early on. So we, once it got to 10-7, and the hit on Burks was a phenomenal play. I thought that was not an intentional play by the DB. He thought it was a clean hit. Naturally, it wasn't, but I don't think it was any intent there. But as the game wore on, you just figured out that they couldn't run the ball, they couldn't protect the quarterback. And all those things came to roost. And then eventually, defensively, against, the Eagles, their game plan, the Eagles, was to throw the ball around the yard.
Yeah.
They were going to just throw. They were not going to try to run. I think they thought maybe they couldn't run, even though as a unit, most people say that's the best offensive line. And I was really surprised that the Titans played all the man-to-man that they did. They isolated, from McCrary to Fulton when he was out there, and Avery, who I thought for a guy undrafted free agent played solid, but I know he got beat. But at the same time, that's, A.J. Brown, I don't, so A.J. Brown had a good day. So obviously that was, disappointing in itself. Even, he can have a good day, but then you win and it's okay. So they just got beat in all phases of the game, and it was really discouraging. And they really have no playmakers on offense once they stopped the run game. So I thought Tannehill still did a decent job considering, what he was up against. So, yeah, it was just one of those games. And we can go down the stats. Tannehill had more rushing yards than Derrick Henry. We can go down and look at that stat. Chig showed up once again as well. It was discouraging. Here's what it was. Remember, I said in the pregame show, this is a time to show what you can do versus playoff caliber team. Well, guess what it showed me? Clear as day that this team is an average NFL team who's in a horrible division, AFC South, And that's why they're at the top, because they're better than most. They're better coached, but they don't have the talent to compete against the elite teams.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing against the actual players. They just don't have the talent. And we could talk about, injuries and all those things, but in pro sports, there are no excuses. Sorry, I don't know, Price Daly's out there. You got to cash in, bro. It is what it is. So, so that's really what I saw. That was it. I thought they played hard. They just got outplayed. I think offensive line may be running out a little bit of gas. Even the defensive line. I mean, I didn't like what I saw at all. And Big Jeff is only 60% of what Big Jeff is, because he hasn't dominated a game, and we barely even heard his name, if we heard his name in the game. So I applaud him for going out there and being tough. But it'll be interesting to see if you win the next game, which is the Jaguars, right?
Jags.
Okay, the Jags. After you win that game, do you then? I'm just gonna throw it out there. Do you rest some guys who are banged up that are really good players? And is it too soon? Because you need him for the long haul. Because, man, we need Jeff at his best. That is, he can't move around like he normally does. So at the same time, they're losing the ball games in the trenches. It's just that clear. You can say, we don't have any playmakers after Burks went out. But, man, I don't know if any receiver would come here and be a playmaker based off of the style of offense that they run. Mm-hmm. And I'm real curious about that. It's like, the receivers come here to die. Remember I said no big-name guys are going to come here unless they're going to get overpaid, and then they're not going to produce with the production. This is the same reason why the Titans didn't want to pay A.J. Brown. Mm-hmm. It really, at the end of the day, we don't throw the ball. A.J. Brown, as great as the day he had 10 targets. Man, he might have. How many times do you think he had 10 targets with the Titans? I mean, I know it was a couple times for sure. Maybe the Colts game when he kind of took over.
When in 3 years?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. 10 targets. And mine is now, he's set, really. I mean, he didn't. I mean, they chilled out in the second half. So I just they're gonna have to. I don't know what their adjustment is, because if you can't pass protect and then you can't run block, there's nothing you can really hang your hat on. So now you have to scheme up and everything else, get rid of the ball quick. And I thought, Tannehill ran around. I mean, so man, this was a really discouraging one. And say, well, we just better win our, the AFC South. If not, we probably wouldn't even be in the playoffs if we weren't in the bad AFC South. And by the way, the Jaguars, I've always said this, they are a talented young team. And we're playing them at the end. They're starting to get better. I know they lost. The quarterback got knocked out. But, man, you better not let those guys stay in there. I'm getting really nervous. I got super excited, saw the offense explode. Green Bay, now we're back to, are you being predictable? I need to maybe watch film as though I'm studying them instead of watching the mistakes, because it looks. I mean, and then when guys are open, he doesn't have enough time to throw to them.
Right.
So I mean, it's just like, man, we got a lot of issues. We played an elite team and they exposed all of it. They did. And I thought it would be a game that they could slow the pace down and get this thing going and be in the game all the way to the end. Did not happen. Thoroughly distraught. That performance.
Just to answer your question, AJ has 10 target games in his career.
As a Titan?
No, 9 total. 4 of them are with Philly already. He had 5 in 3 years.
With the Titans.
5. With the Titans.
Mm-hmm.
5.
Yeah. See, and that's why they didn't want to put that kind of capital. I know everybody's coming back and saying, JR and this and that, and I get it. But at the end of the day, they weren't going to be throwing the ball enough to say that justify the $25 million in their mind. That's kind of where they thought. I mean, and they don't throw the ball like that. I wish they would have. I mean, do people understand Jalen Hurts? Remember they said he can't throw the ball? I said, I beg to differ. He almost had. Did he have 400? Let me look at this.
He had 380.
Yeah, he almost had 400 yards passing.
He threw for 380
against the Titans secondary. See, where is the front four? And by the way, don't get me on my soapbox on the refereeing on some of these calls. I thought the game was going to take 4 hours at the beginning, with all these false starts to unnecessary roughness on the quarterback. Man, they got to get some of that stuff fixed, man. I need some clarity on that. Just that alone. I think the one on what was it, Edwards? The one, man, I don't know why they called that one, man. And they scored on that drive. I was baffled. I'm like, man, that's a tough one there. Now the Dupree, he did lead, and I get it. Yeah, I don't think it really hit his head, but I can see how they could say that one.
But the other one, though, he didn't even hit him. Yeah. He went over him.
He went over the top of him. The guy slid, Hurts slid, and man, that was a bad call. You know, that makes you feel better when they see you. Oh, okay, we made a bad call. Thanks. Well, just, cost us some momentum there. Because I think that was a third down.
Think about it. The Eagles had 12 penalties for 80 yards, and it didn't matter. They absolutely destroyed the Titans. They beat them by 25 points, even while having 12 penalties for 80 yards. They were in 1st and 15 so many times in that game, or 2nd and 15. Didn't even matter. They made it up. They made up the difference over and over again.
Yeah, they made our secondary look bad. Woo! They was throwing all over the place. And then they did exactly what I thought they were going to do. They're going to play it out and see how you're going to approach your attack on stopping A.J. Brown. So they didn't even feed him on the first drive, really. I mean, he got a quick out or something, but, I mean, they were trying to see what you're going to do. They were doubling Smith, start killing him. And then, we got to address Smith. Up now, we're coming back to A.J. Bang. And that Quez White, Quez was pretty fast, too, so he was part of all of that. Man, whew. Yeah, they just abused us there, man. They're a much more talented team than the Titans.
Well, you said this pretty early on in the season. This team is not as good as last year's team.
It ain't close.
Yep.
And it starts with the guys up front. I mean, they're really on the offense.
We spent the whole spring talking about it, though. They need more help on the offensive line. Where's the help?
And they needed another receiver.
And they needed another receiver. We talked about it over and over and over and over again, and nothing happened. I mean, they did make a trade for Dennis Daly, but it just hasn't paid off.
Oh, well, that was forced. That was at the end.
Yeah.
We're talking about the offseason. Even though they got Robert Woods, they got, a guy off of ACL, and I still don't believe he's where he was before he got injured.
Now, he's having trouble getting away from people. He's and towards the end of training camp, I remember standing there with a group of reporters. I think you may have been standing there, and he was running patterns. Now, granted, you see a lot of the same guy. He gets to know your moves. But there was one particular day where he never got away from his guy. And at that point, it's like, uh-oh.
Oh, what was one positive? Oh, one thing that was positive, though?
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, they in trouble. Chig got more snaps this time.
Well, I got all that charted. I got all that charted for later. And why don't I hold on to that? Because I got Chig.
That's the only part. I was trying to think as a player, former player, I always want to come out of, okay, what are positives out of this? And it was hard for me to find one, man. It really was.
Well, out of absolute bare necessity, Chig did get some action. We can share that and more. We got open line. Steve is on the line. Mark, Scott, if you hold, we'll come to you. We'll do Ding Dong of the Week as well. Maybe we could even do Ding Dong of the Week at 45. Let's take some therapy calls next.
Ding Dong right now.
615-737-1045. It is a sadness. Raining, sad, wet, gross, losing Monday on Blaine.
Depressing.
Yes, it is. Blaine and Mickey 1045 The Zone. We'll get to our ding dongs of the week here soon. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today and start packing. Or as we like to say, don't be a ding dong. Use Mark Spain. Again, we will get to ding dong of the week, but I think we have some. Well, people, they may just want to come on and just say, hey, this guy's the ding-dong, but these are all Titans-related questions. And let's get to the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline, 615-737-1045. Couple lines open if you want to join the discussion. Steve in Nashville was up first and will be up first. Hello, Steve.
How you guys doing?
Man, doing all right.
I think
Good.
doing good. Blaine, you hit on everything. I mean, it's kind of the Key and Peele skit, right? It's like, oh, we're terrible. But, yeah, no, we are. So you've seen it, haven't you? So here's the deal. They're 6-0 against teams with losing records. They're 1-5 against teams with winning records. You're not fixing this year. But here's one thing you might want to consider if you're John Robinson moving into next year. One, and I know I'll make people mad, don't spend the money on Simmons. Number two, quit trying to get people on the cheap after they come off an ACL, a back injury, or anything else, and try to make them what they are. Why don't you go out and draft some talent in the SEC? So you're not fixing it this year, but if you do add up their wins, Blaine, this will make you feel better. They should win 5 more games based on the scheduling.
Oh, because the teams have losing records?
Right.
Yeah,
so they're supposed to sweep
playing.
the Jaguars.
There you go.
Got the
The
Texans.
Chargers, you lose to Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
That's insane.
How about
It's insane to think.
You
Absolutely.
said that's 5 games?
Hey, Steve, what would you
Yeah.
Yeah, they got 5 left. What would you do with Big? Because you're like, don't pay Big Jeff. What would you do? Let him just play out his deal and shake his hand, or franchise him, or
But
what?
why,
No,
though?
you franchise him one more year. You explain why. He wants talent around him too. He wants to win. He seems like he's grown into accustomed to what we're doing. He fits the scheme well.
Yeah.
I'd franchise him this year. Y'all gonna laugh, but I mean, I think Ryan Tannehill's a great guy too. I do. I've met the guy. I think he's wonderful. Here's the problem. I think he's at his ceiling. I would have gone and got Garoppolo, but that's not going to work now. So I would re-sign Tannehill, re-up him, but you got to put weapons around him. Where the hell's Kyle Phillips? Where's he been? And you got to draft some talent, and I mean it. Quit trying to get everyone on the cheap during the draft. Go out and get some SEC-type players. That's the only way to fix it. But it's going to take a few years. So with that all said, too, and I know I'm taking a long time, Mike Vrabel's done an outstanding job as a coach with this team. And I hope he hears that. So y'all have a good afternoon.
Steve, thank you. Blaine, that's something you and I have talked about, though, is if you look at what John Robinson is trying to do, especially in the first round, he's always trying to get the most value. Well, it worked one time with Big Jeff. That was unbelievable value. But that's it. There's no more. That's.
And then he's probably not going to sign him, as the caller just said he wouldn't.
And he said franchising this year. You don't have to. Yeah. He has his option year coming up. Exactly. This is only year 3. And
that's why the Titans feel like they should get a discount. If we're going to go out of our way to give, we still have 2 more years to really franchise you. So that's why they're looking like, well, no, we're not going to give you 25. At this point in time, we're around 18, 19, and maybe even 20. They're like, nah, we're not giving up to 25. And, but there's going to be a lot of changes. Like, as much as, Dupree had a sack and a caused fumble, I don't think he's going to be in a roster. The production of him not being healthy enough for games is really the key here. And it's already got to a point in my mind where he's not healthy enough already, and the season's not even over. And he better have a really great final 5 or 6 games here. And blow it off the water and stay healthy. But I don't even know if they're. So then you'll have Landry coming back off an ACL, so maybe you save some money there.
Yeah, you're already paying him. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Big Jeff, this is year 4. His option was picked up after year 3. So you have his 5-year, which is his option year. That's already on paper done. That's already paid for, bought and paid for in the cap. So then you could franchise him another year. And, I mean, if you really want to, you could franchise him another year. So you have next year that's bought and paid for. That's his 5th-year option year.
Basically, you can get him for 3 more years.
You could have him for 3 more years.
But he would count against the cap a lot higher if you go that
the
route.
Whole
what you just said.
number every year counts against the cap. Yep.
So that's the only thing. But you got to see where you're at, and and to me, he's talking about you got to get him more weapons. At the same time, remember I've talked about it's 2 ways to skin a cat. You got to be able to throw it around the yard like the Eagles did. you got to be okay, cool with that, and then we're not going to run the football. By the way, their running back, he didn't have a lot of attempts. What was his numbers? But he had over 900 yards rushing this season so far. So he's in the top 5. Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
I don't recall him being that impactful in this game as a runner. He had 10 for 24.
Yep.
They came in this game saying we're going to throw the football. We're not going to run with that. And I don't think they believe they could run against that defensive line that the Titans have. And then the defensive line of the Titans, I know they had some mush rush and where they were trying to stay in their lanes. But at some point, you got to say, hey, go get him. Go get him. Sorry. If he gets through a crease and y'all open up a lane, oh, well, let's keep it moving. And I really did not like how much they were playing man-to-man. I really didn't. I just thought they did it way too much. And to me, when you're playing a running quarterback, I said this during the pregame show, I would be playing zone. I want all eyeballs on Hurts, and I want to let my pass rush get after him. So yeah, I didn't like that at all. And they proved out that their receivers were who I thought they were. Not just AJ Brown, as a group. We don't have enough.
Their tight end made plays.
Yeah. Hadn't caught a pass since the stud got injured. You said it right. There you go. I was like, who's Scroll?
That dude.
Yeah, he looked real good.
He looked good.
He looked like the modern day Chad Lewis that I played with in Philly.
Looked good, and Smith looked good. I mean, great route runner. And Quez Watkins got hurt, but he was out there doing some stuff.
Well, he missed that post route. He beat McCreary.
Yeah.
Oh man, he was worried about all the physicality and got caught up there and didn't really get the ball.
You may need to go take a cold tub to McCreary. It's this is like he'd be done right now. He'd be bowl prepping.
Well, he could be hitting the wall.
Get in the cold.
No doubt.
Let's go in together and buy him a big old cold tub. We'll go down to Farmer Supply and get him one.
Yeah, we got to teach him a little bit more. I know it was AJ Brown. He was a strong physical receiver, but that was on Avery. But he's right there. So we can't be always right there and then you're not making a play. At some point, you got to start making that play. I know it's hard. It's easy to say you got to make a play. But you got to start practicing making that play, turning in, looking, timing, and I get it. As soon as you look sometimes, and it happened to me, and then that ball whipped right by your eyeballs. And you go, oh, man, I shouldn't have looked. I should have just played his body, his hands. Well, these guys are too good. They're too strong. Man, they're waiting to the last minute. So you gotta start looking for the ball, and then you'll get a break on the pass interference. The out and up on Avery really was kind of a botched play to me because he was chasing and the ball was underthrown. Mm-hmm. He has no idea where the ball's. Another reason why I know every game and every play is different. I want my eyeballs on the quarterback. I want to be able to see the ball. That's the only way you can make plays. You don't see guys making interceptions a lot in man-to-man. It's just hard to do.
Vrabel has even said that.
Yeah, you can't. You have no eyes, so you can't see and react. You're reacting off of the player.
Right.
And then these guys are so good. I mean, you're not even getting your hands on them. And then all this playing off. Good Lord. They're gonna drive me to eating, man, and snacking on craziness. I'm like, man, at least get up there and bail out of there or move out of there, go up and back because they can throw the pop pass. That's all it does is keep it from throwing those sharp plays. You are off, man. They know what's coming. They can throw the slant out. They can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Out and up, double move you. You don't want to be in that where you're just that predictable. And I get it. A lot of corners are just kind of getting to this phase where they're just playing off. You got to play this game. When they come out the huddle and he lines up, you can line up in front of his face even though you know you have deep third. And especially if it's cover 3 and you got two vertical threats there, you thinking, hey, man, I got to be over the top of 2 guys if I'm deep third, if they run 2 verticals here. So you can still line up. It's all about deception. But if you're just lining up 8 yards off every time, then you're not deceiving anybody. And I think they just get into a habit of it. It just happens. But man, they do it more than often. You gotta go look at the other corners on the other side. They Slay. Mm-hmm. Hey, I was interested to see what happened, and I didn't hear Slay's name very often at all. Even Bradbury, he's pretty solid.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty good dudes. Man, that really hurt Burks. I want to, regardless win, lose, or I wanted to see what he could do against these dudes. Because they have good corners, really good corners.
Well, he had one chance, and he made a big play.
That was
the way he. I don't know how
play.
You're asleep and hold on to the ball. He did it.
You know what I thought about? This is crazy. I know it was a tough play, and he got hit and hurt and everything else. It was like a pillow. You know, when sometimes you lay on your head on the pillow and you're on your back, and then you have one pillow in your arm, and you just holding it. That's exactly what happened. And he couldn't let it go. He couldn't let it go.
That was hard to watch.
That was a heck of a catch.
It was.
Well, he sold me there that I think he's the dude.
Yeah.
There's no doubt now. There's no doubt. I don't care if he don't play the rest of this year. He's the dude. We gotta get him the ball. And I think they were. I think they were gonna make intentions. He was gonna get more reps, just like Chig did.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, all this BS crap about Chig can't block. Why did he line up in fullback and they ran an I formation dive?
Chig.
And he went and hammered somebody.
that too.
I watched that. I kept rewinding. I'm like, dang, that was Chig.
Yeah.
Never telling me he can't block. I told you, you put a dude out there and say, go get him. I guarantee you, I don't care about no practice. When we get in the game, he's going to do it because he's not going to be like, you ain't riding me in the meetings. And I guarantee he didn't want to be right there. But he sure ran right up in there and blocked out of I formation.
I saw it. I made a note.
I was like, man, y'all better stop all this talk about won't block. You better get in their way. He did more than get in their way. He went at him. Like,
Let's go at Mark here next on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. Mark in Clarksville. We'll call it Marksville. What's going on, Mark?
You're so silly.
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's
Great.
going on, bro?
I'm good. Hey, deal with me here. I haven't played football since the early 80s. That's how old I am.
Okay.
High school. Why, if Henry can't get more than 50 yards a game, Tannehill getting sacked, why come we can't make one of the tight ends a fullback? And you ain't got to run the ball every time you got a fullback back there. Make a decoy. But it seems like the offensive line is under par, so we need to come up with some other schemes. And do we have an offensive coordinator know what to do with a fullback?
Probably
Well,
not. Well, you maybe catch some defenses not knowing what a fullback is too, by the way. But
They have a fullback on the roster, which is what's so crazy.
And I'm gonna go back to this because everybody's gonna go naturally after Downey.
Mm-hmm.
What was real clear, and I've been saying it, they don't have the talent. The left side of the offensive line, Brewer was getting hammered up in there, man. And don't get me talking about Price Daly. Don't get me going. I sent this one video. I sent it to my man B-Ha. I was like, dude, man, you need to go help this guy. He laughs there.
Trying to get Brad Hopkins to go pay twice daily a visit.
He was like, I don't know if I can help this guy.
Oh, no.
He said, I don't know. I help him.
He said, I don't.
I was like, oh, man.
Oh.
He was like, I don't know, man. They may have a guard playing tackle.
Oh.
That was his response. He said, hey, man, it's tough, man. When he said, hey, it was easier for me because I was a tight end who moved to tackle in college. People don't even know that. At Illinois, he was a tight end. So now he had the footwork and the athleticism of a tight end. And so then all of a sudden, tackle was easy to him. Now, I naturally had to learn all the techniques and everything involved, but it came a lot easier to him than a guy who probably really is a guard easier. It's more natural for him than if he's at tackle. So that was kind of what he was referring to. Yeah, they're in trouble. And there's nothing they can do. Their hands are tied. Where do they go to get alignment?
Right.
Like, I mean, and it's weird because they can find like DBs or linebackers, but they can't find an offensive lineman. Like they could come in he's probably doing a good job considering where he should be, like as a backup, or maybe on the practice squad. But yeah, I don't know if I could play quarterback for the Titans. I might have been throwing that thing like hot potato. No way. I'll be looking at the line. They not blocking. I'm like, I'm about to get up out of here.
We do see teams, though, make adjustments, Blaine, that they say, we're just going to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands immediately.
Quickly.
We'll throw something. We'll start.
They ain't doing that.
The Titans just don't do that. They don't do that.
Not like that.
Nope.
They're going down vertical to throw quick passes. They'll throw a slant or RPO or something like that. So, yeah, Hey, another thing too. I thought they should have taken the players that are injured out sooner. I don't know why I felt that way. I thought they let them go a little too long. I said, all right, well, let's look at Malik Willis. There's nothing happening here.
Yeah, I would have taken Tannehill out.
Yeah.
If not one series, maybe two series before they actually took him out. Because I think he hurt his other ankle yesterday. I think John Glennon at one point said they're putting tape on his other ankle now.
Did he hurt it just running, or he got hit on it?
No, I think I saw him like doing the hop around thing after a play, like, uh-oh. But I think it was Glennon who said, they're taping his ankle, and it's the other ankle. And Glennon's going to join us in hour 2. We can ask him.
Yeah, but even some in the receivers, they couldn't take any of those out because they only dressed, with Burks out. There's only 4 left, right? Or 3.
3.
Yeah, CJ Board was the other one.
Board's out there running routes.
Well, Board is about to break because he better quit returning those kicks like that. Every time he gets hit, I feel like
that's the end of him.
Yes,
he got rocked.
I've been meaning every game. I'm like, well, dang man, he's taking a big hit every game, more than one.
You got to make yourself narrow. It's
Skinny mini.
If you can get B-Hop to go talk to Twice Daily, maybe we could get Mark Mariani, just pick him up in the car and drive him over there and let him show you, like, here's how you don't just get rocked every time you catch the ball.
Yeah, and what it tells me, I'd love to hear Mark Mariani or anybody like that who's returned, like, in the NFL, like, hey, man, is this because he's just not a natural returner? Because it's happening every time he gets the ball.
Yeah.
Every time I thought, well, dang, he's taking some big hits here, man. Like, you're supposed to be having this last little jitterbug to you that they can't get you like that. Not every single time you're running. And, I get nervous for him. I don't know how long he going to last. Like, seriously now.
He's not very big either.
No, I know.
I stood right in front of him and talked to him in the locker room.
Man, this guy's not a stocky built guy.
No, he's not.
Yeah, so
Neither am I.
They need to go give him some tips there on how to get down. Because I'm always yelling, get down. Every time he's run, I'm like, I see it coming. Get down. How does he not see it coming? I'm like, ooh, boy. Hey, I got to get out of there. No.
All right, we've got callers. We've got available lines on the Mark Spain Real Estate Hotline. We got a couple of ding-dong callers. Eric, of course. Tristan will take the ding-dong calls. We'll continue to take the Titans calls as well. Stick and stay. We will get back to the phones next on Blaine and Mickey. We know you're upset. Oh, right now is Blaine and Mickey, 104.5 The Zone. Back to the phones, 615-737-1045 as we go through this roller coaster of a Titans season. See what I did there, Bert? Got a couple of ding-dong calls, and then Chris wants to talk about, he has a Dylan Radin scenario that does need to be discussed. So hold on, Chris.
Man,
hold on.
put him at left tackle, right?
That may be what Chris is leaning towards.
Even,
That's what you so you got drafted. You might as well try somebody.
yeah, well, you can't go wrong right now at this point.
Eric in Nashville, we can't go wrong with his ding dong. He calls each week to check in with one. Eric, thanks for calling in with a Mark Spain ding dong of the week.
Hey, guys, I got a couple of ding-dongs, guys. My first one has to go to the New England Patriots for their performance last Thursday night against the Buffalo Bills, losing 24-10. I know Mac Jones was upset. He had every right to be, but they were driving late, and all they had to settle for was field goal. You've got a former special teams coach now who's an offensive coordinator, and he was also a head coach, and the defensive coordinator who was a former head coach who's also now an offensive coordinator. Makes no sense. And now they're throwing out rumors that Tom Brady might come back to the Patriots. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, I think Mac Jones, unfortunately, being made a scapegoat. He's not played that badly. He just has no weapons. So the Patriots, especially Bill Belichick, gets the ding-dong for that whole offensive performance last week. But my other ding-dong, guys, and I got to go here, has to go to the Dr. Pepper Challenge thing at halftime.
When they
with,
tied.
at the LSU Georgia game, we had the two women throwing footballs. They tied after the time limit. Then they went to an extra 15 seconds and tied again. Then the one girl was given the championship according to some sort of thing that happened yesterday that nobody saw.
I think it was a coin toss or something. That's why she
And a lot of people booed, and they relented later on after complained on social media. So they decided to give both of them the money. Here's my thing. I guarantee you Dr. Pepper is going to do something to try and change that to make it hard or whatever, because they don't want that thing to happen again what happened. So they're going to try and do some tweaking or something to change that, I guarantee you. Guys, y'all take care, and we'll talk again soon.
Eric, you were 100% right. They will put something
Were you
in
watching
place.
that too? They booed. I mean, I'm like, well, dang, they gave it to the girl because they won a coin toss. I was like, oh, that's messy because they tied in overtime. They tied again. It was like, oh man, just give it to them both, and they should have done it immediately.
Somebody should have called.
But it's not my $100,000, right? So now you got to come up with another extra $100,000. It wasn't like they say, oh, okay, we'll split the 100. We give you 50-50.
How not to says in his own TV chat, can we just get Ramon to come back out of retirement and play against the Jags? I'm 100%. Ramon, if you're listening, I actually texted Ramon last year at some point and said, hey, man, are you eligible? Can you play?
That may be a good option. I don't know about the tackle, but I'm sure he'd be ready to rock and roll at that guard. You get exposed at that tackle. Now, you get more money.
Yeah.
You get money.
I'll drill with him. I'll get him ready.
Moan's slimming down. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I'll take Ramon out to eat. We'll get some pounds.
Well, first and foremost, you got to get in shape. So, like, let's start there. Like, man, people act like, oh, you can just get off the couch. Like, I mean, you've been out the league a couple years. Like, it's like, I don't know about that one.
Well, that makes what Neil O'Donnell did the most remarkable things I've ever seen.
It's incredible.
He missed a whole season, Lucas. Played they signed him for the last game of the year against the Buccaneers. And he said, well, I've been working out at the Y. And he came in and beat the Buccaneers, Neil O'Donnell, after missing the whole season.
Wasn't Waddle on the couch for a bit before he came back with the Rams?
Who?
The safety?
He was.
Yes, he was out.
Yeah,
he was out for the season until the playoffs.
And then, he played, and he ended up, dislocating his shoulder.
But he played a lot.
But he did. Because he knew the scheme and the system. It was the coaches that he had before.
He plugged right in.
Yeah,
he played till he had nothing left.
Boy, he did. Got him a ring.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Tristan.
great player too. Yeah, it's hard to do though, man. After that first year, I think it's really hard at any position. One position, quarterback, and maybe like punting or something. Certain things that have specifics that you can get away with actually playing. I think you can get away. O'Donnell had his arm in shape. He'd been working out. He was still hadn't been a year out. I think it's cool. You start getting to the 2-year frame. Ooh, that's tough.
Yeah.
You got to be a freakish athlete. Freakish.
Yeah, I mean, that's like my level that we're talking about there. Tristan and Brentwood up next.
Definitely not my
What's
level.
up, Tristan?
Definitely not.
Hello, Tristan.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for taking my call. My game dog for the week is Nick Saban complaining about not getting into the playoffs and just him on ESPN and the Big Ten halftime show and just him complaining.
Kristen, appreciate the phone call. Well, the one thing about Nick is I'm sure they called him and
They
said,
did.
would you
They
like to
did.
come on and
he
say
had to
some
be ready
things?
for
And he
some
said,
questions.
absolutely, I'd like to try to sway the court of opinion towards the Crimson Tide.
He was mine. That was my ding dong.
Saban was your ding-dong?
It's rare to have Saban as a ding dong, but
You got
wasn't
to pick your
Saban
spots.
preaching about you shouldn't be able to get in if you don't, even win your conference?
He didn't even sound like that. Didn't even sound like him. He's not a salesman like that.
No,
to me.
he's not.
That probably pained him to have to do that.
100% it pained him. Yeah,
It pained
just
him.
like making those Aflac commercials with prime time and a fake duck.
Yeah,
and
but
a-
at least those
and a goat.
result in cash.
Yeah.
yeah.
and it's fun. It's funny.
Before, shoot. Let's take this phone call. We'll give our ding dongs when we come back. Let's
Okay,
get Chris in Memphis because Chris wants to bring something up. Maybe this is a great idea, or maybe this is a ding dong idea. We'll just see. Chris, what you got? All the way from Memphis, man. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
First time caller of the show. This is quite a few times.
Well, thank you.
Don't know if this qualifies as a ding dong, but y'all said it twice daily. I just call him Dennis Dudley because that's exactly what he is. He's a dud. And
That's horrible.
I mean, I just think right now the Titans are looking like a fraud of a football team, looking like they're just going to be one and done. It just seems like they're just happy with winning the division and getting a playoff game at home, and then they'll probably be one and done. But the question is, don't you think it's about time we maybe see what we have with Dylan Radins at left tackle, his natural position? I mean, I see a lot of other people in the media thinking, well, they don't want to play tackle. He can't play tackle. And I'm just thinking, what is it that they're seeing that we're not? Because I think we're watching two different versions. I mean, that 49ers game about a year or so back, I thought Dylan Radins did just fine at left tackle. I mean, yeah, he had some help, but how many sacks did this Ghost have in that game? Zero.
Chris, thank you for the.
And that
Hey,
was
Chris,
last
you
minute
still
too,
there?
right?
It was last minute.
Yeah.
Chris, you still there?
I'm here.
Hey, before I let you go, you're in Memphis. What is your favorite barbecue of all the Memphis barbecue?
Ooh, you're asking me a good one. I mean,
You can just name all of them, right?
I can't say all of them. I mean, Top's Barbecue is pretty good. There's a spot here called One and Only that's actually really good as well. I mean, Corky's, you really can't go wrong there either. I like their sauce. So there's quite a few good options here.
Oh, I know. I used to live in Memphis. Trust me, I know. I'm just always curious to ask Memphis people which one they like the best. So all good options. Chris, thank you for the call, man.
Hey, no problem.
Appreciate it.
Keep listening. I appreciate it. All right, you guys keep listening. We got hour number 2 coming up. John Glennon in about 25 minutes. Blaine and I still haven't given our ding-dongs.
Give us some calls on the ding-dongs.
You can still call with ding-dongs. We got a whole bunch of ding-dongs in the Zone TV chat as well over here, including one that involves lightning from Tyler, and it was a ding-dong thing. So we'll finish ding-dongs. We'll talk more Titans, and they pretty much played like ding-dongs, and we'll just keep this ding-dong Monday going on Blaine and Mickey.
That was a ding-dong thing they're going to win.
Yeah. Blaine and Mickey, 104.5, the Zone Hour, number 2. John Glennon coming up here in about 20 minutes. We'll discuss all things Titans. We've been letting people get some stuff
With them ding-dongs.
off their chest. Hey, you got something out of your toy chest you want to give away. Here is your chance. The Zone's annual Toy Field Drive is presented by Hardee's. It's tomorrow to benefit the Salvation Army's Forgotten Angels tomorrow. So if you got chance today, tomorrow, run out, do some holiday shopping. Remember those in need. Get a gift. Help us build a field of toys tomorrow at Nissan Stadium. Appreciate Music City Autoplex and our media partners at Fox. I was on there this morning, had a great chance.
Yeah, you and Sissy were on there this morning from 92Q, man.
That's right. And
Fox 17, huh?
State water heaters and We Go Public Transit and Cool Ray that you hear Blaine Bishop talking about. And, of course, Hardee's. We had a man, it's just been a lot of fun talking about it. It's going to be a lot of fun doing it, and you guys are the ones who make it great. So come and see us tomorrow with a toy or an unwrapped gift for a senior blanket, coffee mug, anything like that for a senior citizen as well. Let's make Christmas bright for people who deserve it. The Titans are going to have to start winning some games if their Christmas wants to get bright, Blaine. They've lost 2 in a row. They got crushed yesterday by the Eagles. 35-10 was the final, although it didn't seem that close. They've lost 3 of 5. This was their worst offensive and defensive scoring performance since week 2 versus Buffalo when they gave up 47 and they scored 7. Philly had 453 yards of total offense. The Titans had 209. Philly had 26 first downs. The Titans had 11. Jalen Hurts threw for 380 and 3 TDs. And, oh, by the way, A.J. Brown against his old team had a big old party. 8 for 119, 2 touchdowns as well. All 3 of Hurts' passing TDs came on passes thrown from 20-plus yards downfield. The Eagles ran okay. Honestly, there were long stretches they didn't even try to run because they were just too busy throwing the ball around the
all
yard.
over the place. Man, but actually, Brown and Smith both had over 100. In our receivers, we got Conquo with 68, and then who's not a receiver, and Burks, who had his 1 for 125. He was second on the team in yardage.
Yeah, and played
That is a problem.
one series. Yeah, 2 series.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There you have it right there.
Well, there's a lot. They went 0 for 2 in the red zone. That's 0 for 5 over the last 2 games. The Titans ran 21 times for 87 yards. Derrick Henry was 11 for 30. Aaron Brewer and Dennis Daly, I saw this from Pro Football Focus last night. They combined to allow 9 pressures. I know NPF
They gave up 6 sacks, didn't they?
They gave up 6 sacks as a unit. Yep. Yeah. NPF had a rough game. Traylon Burks got knocked out early, catching a TD. Fulton got hurt. Long got hurt. Mm-hmm. Eagles had 12 penalties for 80 yards, and it was still won by 25 points. Didn't even matter. They had 5 false starts, I think, within the first 3 quarters of the game. They had more after that.
Yeah, this was a serious butt whooping.
It was.
No, speaking of that, yeah, that's what A.J. Brown was doing when he scored a touchdown. Is that the one they called back? But then he scored the next play.
Immediately he scored again, but he went over and
remember that was my whole big deal. Oh, go right back to him, right aside, and they did.
They did.
Yeah. I wonder what the Titans was thinking. That he wasn't going to do that?
And Fulton got hurt on that play, and they ran into each other.
He got bamboozled.
He did get bamboozled.
He ran out and up, and he tried a collision with him, which is what I would teach if I was a DB. But you got to bring your badonka with you.
Yeah.
He ran. I mean, it was like he was an ant in the air. Boom, and A.J. Brown just kept running.
A bug on A.J.'s windshield.
Yeah.
It knocked him out of the game, and A.J. never even broke stride.
Yeah. I'm trying to tell you, his run after catch. That's why I said these corners don't want to tackle him because he runs like a running back. Once he gets the ball, he is strong and powerful. He is not the fastest. And that's why everybody talks about how many times was he beating them deep? Almost every time. Mm-hmm. Oh, but everybody, I want a speed demon. If you know how to run routes and set people up, you can beat people deep. He's got it. He's probably the 3rd fastest on his team at the receiver position.
Sure.
Maybe not even that. I don't know who the backups are. He could be slower than them if you put him in a foot race. Mm-hmm. But then put him in a foot race in the game and that ball in the air. Totally different ball game. So, yeah. A.J. Brown, he got his revenge game. He won and got the stats. He won. He won that battle.
He got life-changing money. He's on a 10-1 team, and he just completely destroyed the team that let him go.
Yeah, and he was hugging everybody in warm-ups and, out there early.
Yeah.
They were in, sweats and stuff, sweatpants. Talked to the JR, Robinson and Vrabel and players too. See, this is a different era. See, I wouldn't even mix in with this era. I would have gave that dude a drive-by. This is, hey, what's up, bro? Keep on running. I talked to you after the game, bro. After we take y'all down. You're not my teammate anymore. I like you. Good guy, but I'll see you after the game. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I'm not having that. I'm not having it. This is not. It's not. I'm going into this mode that I got to start this mode now. It ain't no laughing, fun, and game. Hey, ha, ha, ha. No, we do that after the game.
What do you call that? Knuckle chuck? What is it?
I don't know. It was not part of my DNA, man.
Was it chuckle nuts?
Yeah, that.
No, that's what I call people. Chuckle nuts.
Yeah, that's a Mickey thing.
Yeah.
Lucas would have been like, "Hey, man, what's up, buddy? What's going on?"
Oh,
Two different generations.
That's
man.
our man,
nah,
Juke.
Man,
He's a
I'm
friend
about
to everyone.
Put this hammer on you, man. You're not gonna be out here making me look silly, Willie. No. Well,
Boy, the one catch where he caught it.
On Avery.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a great catch. Oh,
That was an unbelievable throw.
it was even better throw. He pinned. Did you see what A.J. Brown did? He pinned the dude's arm down.
Yes.
And he couldn't even lift his arms up.
Yes.
He couldn't. He was like, oh, where am I going? I can't go. I was like, oh, man. Oh, that's the worst feeling in the world. That has happened to me. That's why I always try to grab them elbows and all of that. No, you got to get, it's just like wrestling. You got to get the inside. You got to get in there so you have the leverage to do all the movements. Mm-hmm.
Try to take a punch at the ball.
If not, then guess where I would have went? I would have, right before the ball got there, I would have punched him in his gut. Dude. I get scored on or I punch him in the gut. Ain't nobody gonna see a short little ta.
Right.
That's even a little ta.
Stunning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He'd be like, oh, and then drop. Oh, what happened? Nobody saw that.
The Titans DBs do get beat on a lot of those bang plays.
Those are they are hard to defend. Now
Yep.
that back shoulder, you got your back to them. You don't know where. Some guys want to turn inside. They used to teach us that. Now I think you should be turning to the receiver, and that way you can also then play off as though you're looking for the ball.
Right.
And then you try to attack and run through the guy, run through his hands, arms, and whatever, and hope for a great throw that is not on the outside shoulder where you can't get it.
But think about it. He was running as fast as he could. He was running out of space because he was in the end zone. There's a guy right in his armpit, and he had the presence of mind to take his arm and pin that guy's arm down, reach around him and catch the ball, and make it so that guy couldn't punch the ball out. He did all that in real time, running as fast as he could through the end zone, knowing the end zone's like 3 steps for me, as big as I am running full speed. And to compartmentalize all that, put it in a box and wrap it up and do it.
You know why? It wasn't his first rodeo. It wasn't his first time doing that. It was like when they showed it in slow-mo, I was like, oh, that's what happened. Man, that is so clever. That's a wily vet move right there, man. Yeah. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, man. So it is what it is, but, we were going to never throw the ball like that, like they're throwing. No way.
Well, and they came in throwing it only for like 170-something yards a game or something. And they just said, I probably can't run it against them. We'll just throw it all the time. And so they did. They just threw it everywhere all the time. They threw it 39 times.
And then our counter was, we're going to play man-to-man.
Yeah.
I think they got a little ahead of themselves there on how good they thought the secondary. The secondary is good when they get pass rush.
Right.
Not like that. No.
There wasn't a whole lot of pass rush yesterday. And when they were able to get next to Hurts, both times there was a flag thrown.
That was a fart game. I really want to say that
you
was
mean
a
it because it stinks?
Mm-hmm. It should say hit, but with an S in front of it. Good Lord, that was horrible.
Rhymes with fit.
Oh man, I was perturbed. I was already had my popcorn ready. It was all right there in the front row. On my couch. My game room. Before
we get to Glennon, we had Ding Dong of the Week in the last segment. We did not get to give our Ding Dongs, but there was a huge Ding Dong. Drew Brees and Point Bet. They made it look like he got struck by lightning.
Oh, I know. And he's been struck by lightning a couple times, by the way. For real. Because that is kind of a story, but not in this case. So he didn't get struck by lightning this time.
No.
I think he's been struck twice.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
They did this promo, but they made it look like he got struck by lightning. And is he okay? They let the whole world worry about it for a night, and then it's for lightning bets.
Right. So
Hey,
they
man.
lied. They
Come on,
played
man.
that.
I get trying to get publicity, but like people thinking Drew Brees is dead, that's a bit much.
Yeah.
Come on.
That was a little,
That-
a little rough sledding there. You can't be doing
You can't do that. Can't do it.
that. I mean, to the point where he had to come out and say that he didn't get struck by lightning.
I found a Saints reporter because I got worried.
You got
Like, really? Because it looked bad, and I thought this got to be a publicity stunt. And I found a Saints reporter who said, I just texted Drew Brees. He did not get struck by lightning. I retweeted it. Like, okay, just in case anybody sees this, they can see that he is not struck by lightning. Also, a ding dong to Dabo Sweeney. He finally put the backup in, Klubnik, and the guy went bananas. He's got the secret sauce, Klubnik does. He's like Heineke, runs gritty. DJ Uyunglele has already hit the transfer portal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He knew. It was over then.
Yeah, but you know who the real ding dong of that game is?
Who? I didn't
Mac
watch it.
Brown,
What'd he
who
do?
after the game said, "No, we didn't prepare for the backup at all." Even though he's appeared at multiple points this season, and DJ's been on a short leash.
They look like they
times
didn't
this
prepare
season.
for him.
He said they didn't.
Klubnik was 20 of 24 passing, and then he passed for a TD and was 7 for 30 and ran for a TD. I love watching that guy play.
I don't understand. Why did he say that, though? Like, they still ran their same offense. So it's still the same offense. It's like, this guy's not a runner. Actually, DJ's a better runner, right?
They asked him point blank, "Did you prepare for the possibility of Cade Klubnik coming in?" He said, "No." He said, "We did not anticipate that at all. We prepared for DJ. We figured that's who they were going to go with. We did not prepare
But
for the
what
backup."
I'm getting at is the offense still was run the same. So it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. So it's always like college is a little different. They always want to come up with these excuses. Like, the offense is what it is.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if you prepare for that quarterback, this quarterback. Like, you running the offense. And like, he was a runner. So that part, okay, I can get that. He ran a lot more than DJ does. And no, that's not the case. They run the same offense. This guy's just a better passer, better quarterback. It doesn't matter. That should have been his answer. But, they want to have built-in excuse because they got to explain to their fan base why they got snafu'd.
Yeah, they got whacked 39-10.
Yeah.
I'm Tennessee. I would much rather have seen DJ than Klubnik. Club's going to make this thing interesting.
Club ain't in the tub.
You can't make the club in the tub. That's what they say. What was your ding dong?
Yeah, my ding dong. Well, first of all, I thought the Titans were going to win this game, so I'm gonna start there with
You're
myself.
giving yourself a
with that
ding
ding dong. But that is not. The other ding dong is the refereeing in this game.
Yeah.
That roughing the passer one on it. I can't still see today where they called it. You see that one, Lucas? Like the one on Edwards. It was Edwards Jr., right? 94. With the one they called that they said he landed on his head.
Yeah, that one was worse than the
Dupree was worse to me. I thought.
Really? I thought it when
only because he led with his crown, and it's still, even though he hit him in his chest, it can be perceived that he hit him in his head.
Yeah, both questionable at best.
Yeah, I thought that was a bad call. So
You almost have to put your shoulder on him, just not your head. Just find. And I know you're going full speed and somebody's blocking you, but if you can get the shoulder. Because if your head is near his head, that's all I could think of is like, okay.
basically, Dupree's hit, I'm going to quantify it for everybody. Dupree's hit on the quarterback was just like Epps' hit on Traylon Burks. Almost the exact same thing. It's just that Epps got a little more of his head than a mask than Dupree did.
Like Vrabel said
And
today.
they both turned their shoulder and tried to do it. But in game time, it's hard to do. I don't think anybody was trying to be malicious on either one of those hits.
Oh, I don't think so. I certainly don't think that
Dupree
was. No, because he knows you can't. He's a veteran player. He knows that you can't. John Glennon is set to join us next. We'll continue the Titans discussion. We will do that next. Also, what do we got to give away? Preds tickets, Lucas? Okay, Preds tickets to give away as well. That's coming up next on Blaine and Mickey. 405 The Zone. You want to give this away, Lucas? You want to give it away now? All right. I wonder who's going to win this. Smashville, don't miss the Holiday Light Show at the Nashville Predators versus Colorado Avalanche game on December 23rd. Ooh, the kids will be out of school. Be caller 5 now. Your chance to win tickets to see the Preds host the Anaheim Ducks on November 29th at Bridgestone Arena. So there you go. Caller 5 wins tickets to see the Preds host the Ducks November. Wait a second. What are we doing, Lucas? November 29th. Next year? We got some.
Maybe that was December 29th.
We got submission. Is it December 29th? It says November in the copy.
Lucas said he was in Brazil, but he's coming back.
Well, though, Preds tickets. How about that? 615-737-1045. Get to your seat early for a special holiday light show and pick Smile Preds bracelet to be part of the show. Have friends and family in town for the holidays. Bring them to a game. We're not sending you back in time to November 29th, I'm sure. It will be forward in time. Bring them to a game, your friends and family, to experience Smashville. Visit NashvillePredators.com/tickets and don't miss out. What a fantastic promo that was. Let's get to John Glennon now.
Yeah, back in time, man.
Caller 5-615-737-1045. John, have you ever heard a ticket promo read that well in real time?
That's intriguing, but that could be a part of the option or part of the interest in that deal is that you get to go back in time potentially.
I'd like to go back in time.
If the Preds could go back, or the Titans rather could go back in time, do you think they would make some different personnel decisions than they have? Let's just start with time travel here.
Or not trade A.J. Brown.
Or not trade A.J. Brown, or maybe not draft Radens or Panda.
By the way, it's December 23rd against Colorado. Big game. Johnny might be there.
December 23rd against Colorado. John will be there.
Yeah.
There you go. I still think it'd be far
Friday,
more,
maybe.
attractive. I think you'd get a lot more interest if you could send folks back in time. But, yeah, that should be a good game against the defending Stanley Cup champs there.
Yeah. Let's hope not too good by those guys, because, boy, are they good. But seriously, JG, what do you do when your identity is run the ball on offense, and then suddenly you can't run the ball on anybody?
Yeah, and I would argue too that it's also your identity is also stop the run. Stop the run and stop the X plays. And in the last 2 weeks defensively, we saw Cincinnati run the ball effectively, and then we saw some more of those X plays come into form yesterday against the Eagles. So, yeah, offensively though, it's not like the Titans, as they are currently constructed, can flip a switch and just turn into a pass-happy team. I think one of the reasons that they have stuck so close to the script, in these recent weeks, even though the run game is struggling, is simply that their pass protection is so poor that Ryan Tannehill is risking his life, it seems like, every time he goes back to pass.
Yeah.
So, if that is your other option besides the run game, boy, you're going to give the run game every chance to succeed, I think. But clearly, something has to give here. It appears with this current personnel offensive line that the run game is pretty much stymied. So you're going to have to try some different things, in weeks to come and try and get a little bit more balance in there and try to jumpstart things.
You think that can include LaRaven Clark? Could it be? I mean, that's so LaRaven. Do you think he'll actually?
Nice.
Do you think
Nice.
Vrabel hinted at it today? Like, we'll try anything, and we just don't have a lot of people on the roster. He is on the roster.
He is on the roster. He would be option one at this point. And one name we kind of forget about that it's too bad things didn't pan out injury wise is we all know, of course, that Taylor Lewan is not there, but also Jamarco Jones is a guy that this team had, and I'm not saying that he would be a savior, but he's a guy that would be probably playing that position right now if he was not on IR as well. But nonetheless, yeah, what you're left with right now is LaRaven Clark, and I don't think anyone assumes that LaRaven Clark is going to be a savior for the run game and pass protection either, but there comes a point when you have to say, surely, he's worth giving a try at least based on what the Titans are seeing from Dennis Daly. And, we saw 3 sacks allowed by Dennis Daly yesterday. You look at the PFF numbers, he's allowed 9 sacks this year, which is tied for first among all tackles. It's not like he's a road grader in the run game either. So yeah, again, I say, why not give somebody another chance? Why not give LaRaven Clark an opportunity out there? And still at this point, you almost scratch your head a little bit and say, do you go back to that Dylan Ravens experiment again a little bit?
Well,
A guy who did okay, certainly, in his one start at left tackle. I realize he's been focused solely on guard, but again, something you got to try something to change at this point.
that is true. John Glennon, our guest at Glennon Sports Titans on Sports Illustrated.
Well, since we're talking about whole line, I guess where does the blame lie as far as in regard to the offensive line and them not having really any depth after LaJuan got injured?
Yeah, well, like I said, you had Jamarco Jones was a name that you probably would be counting on too, but he's on IR. There's a couple guys on the practice squad, but those are not automatic answers either. So
it's more personnel, correct?
What's that?
So it's the personnel decisions, right? As far as the blame.
Certainly, yeah. That's the personnel isn't there right now, and I've always heard. I assume this is accurate, and Blaine, you might be able to certainly offer an opinion too. But more difficult to sign a guy off the street, so to speak, for a position like offensive line.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Than it is for a lot of other
guy.
positions out there, because you got to learn schemes. That there's a lot more continuity out there, and it's more difficult, to just bring a guy in off the street. But that said, again, aren't they at a spot where, hey, give it a shot? A guy like a Darrell Williams, is out there, and he's a guy, 7-year vet. He played in 90 games. He started, 17 for the Bills last year, I think, at both tackle and guard. And,
okay.
Do you call him up? Do you bring him in for a tryout? Who knows? Maybe the Titans already have. We don't know that for sure. But to me, just running Dennis Daly out there, week after week after week, when he was probably going to be like a second or third string guy there in the first place, seems a little bit nuts.
Yeah, one with John Glennon, covers the Titan there for SI.com. I guess explain to us what Vrabel meant when he said crossroads as far as the team, or what he's referring to. I think he tried to clarify today.
Yeah, he did. He clarified that right off the bat today. And what he's saying is, you're looking at a team here, and there's 5 games left in the season, and traditionally, he feels like his team has played pretty well, going down the stretch in the most important games here in December and leading into the playoffs. And that's what he's looking for. He needs this team to kind of regroup, reset, try to find that identity it had earlier, and be one of the better teams in the league when you're playing the most important games of the season. I guess the good news for the Titans is that next up on the schedule is Jacksonville. And that's always a good team to help try to reestablish an identity and get back in a winning mode at home. But there are just a lot of issues right now that the Titans need to address and improve on in a short amount of time.
Did Philadelphia do anything, I guess, with their D-line, especially, or they just outplayed them in the trenches there for stopping the run?
I think it was more a case of outplaying them, and I think that was certainly a big concern going in. I don't think it was a real big surprise. I think it was more of a surprise last week to me, because Cincinnati's personnel I didn't think was as good as Philadelphia's, and then they kind of won that line of scrimmage battle. But Philadelphia has some big talented guys on that D line. When you talk about Josh Sweat and Fletcher Cox, and you're bringing in Sue now. He was playing in his 3rd game too. I think they're too good, and I think clearly there are some things that teams are doing, and it started in that Denver game. That are really cutting back on the Titans' ability to run the ball, and there's certainly a blueprint right now for stopping the Titans' running game. But really beyond X's and O's, I would say it was more a case of just those guys were too good. They were better than the Titans' offensive line yesterday.
Do you know much about Basham, the kid they just picked up? Is he on the 53-man roster. Where's that leave the roster? I'm not sure of.
Yeah, he's signed to the 53 because he was on the Cowboys practice squad. And that's Terrell Basham. He's like a defensive end, edge rusher type. So the Titans are going to need to make a corresponding move. I'm sure we'll hear it shortly. In order to keep that roster at 53. And it's interesting to kind of at least speculate on what that move might mean. I guess certainly one possibility, maybe Danico Autry is out a little bit longer than they might have thought. That's one school of thought. Maybe he goes to IR. Again, strictly speculation here. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, you've got a couple of guys like a Laurel Murchison or Sam O, as the Titans call him, who are talented, but maybe the Titans feel like they've got a better solution here, and a guy like Basham, who's certainly got plenty of experience. He was a third-round pick back in the day of with the Colts in 2017, and he's put up pretty solid numbers over the years. So maybe a case of a simple upgrade over someone they have right now.
I guess lastly for me, we're trying to figure out, at least I was, the waiver wire and how the order is, I guess, before the season, and once the season starts, I guess it changes based off of where you are on the record, like third week or something. Give me some clarity on how that works. The reason why I'm saying it because I saw Baker Mayfield was on the waiver wire.
It starts out every year, based on your records from the previous year. In other words, the worst team. It's sort of like the draft in that respect. The worst teams, get the first pick off the waiver wire, and get to claim players. And then a few weeks in, I can't remember right offhand how many weeks into the season it is.
The Mixer said it was
I believe it's 3. Yeah.
Is it 3? Okay,
Yep.
So you guys know more than me.
But
at that point, it changes, and teams can grab players based on the standings, the current standings in the NFL. So still, obviously, the Titans are fairly well down the waiver wire at this point, but certainly not as far down the waiver wire as they were at the beginning of the season. Coming off the year they had last year.
Well, with John Glennon with SI.com.
JG, I know we started the call and we were talking about it and offensive line stuff. We had a caller earlier who called in, and a guy from Memphis, and he basically said, "Look, man, give Dylan Radins another try." I mean, he played to one day, and he kept Bosa off of Tannehill that day, and I mean, you drafted him. I'm almost to that point. Like, the Dennis Daly thing's not working. It doesn't work. If you try something else and it doesn't work, you're already doing something that doesn't work. Does that make sense? I mean, the definition of insanity is just doing the same thing every day and expecting different results. And we've seen a ton of insanity so far.
Yeah, I hate to bash only on Dennis Daly because obviously there were other Titans, plenty of other Titans who had bad days and have struggled in recent weeks too. The fact of the matter is, when you're playing left tackle, that's a position almost like a quarterback or a cornerback where every mistake you have is going to be, very much magnified.
Yeah.
And the kind of game that he had yesterday and probably some in recent weeks too makes you ask the question, what exactly is Dennis Daly doing to hold that job?
Yeah.
Why should you put him out as your starting left tackle? Is it a case of he's doing some things well? Mike Vrabel mentioned a few things today that he thought he saw Dennis Daly do well, or is it more a question of you're not confident enough in what your other options are? And we talked about LaRaven Clark, and you brought up Dylan Radins too, but at least both of those guys do have track records of playing at tackle in the NFL. So. Again, I asked the question, what do you have to lose at this point? When Dennis Daly gave up 3 sacks yesterday, if the next guy comes in, whether it's Clark or Radins, and only gives up 2 sacks next week, hey, you made an upgrade, right?
I tend to think so. I mean, I
hate to phrase it like that, but
that's where we are. I mean, that's the corner we've been backed into. John Glennon, covering the Titans for Sports Illustrated, our guest.
Well, John, I thought, man, maybe it was just me. I was ready to get the vets out of there, the guys you could take out, sooner than later. I thought they were in it for a series or maybe even two longer. What were your thoughts when you were watching the game, or did you not see it that way?
I kind of agree with you. You know, it was a 4-score game there in the fourth quarter. And I know there was still a decent amount of time left in the fourth quarter, but unless you were a real optimist, to me it was pretty clear it was not the Titans' day yesterday. And the only thing, that keeping Ryan Tannehill in the game at that point, to me anyway, was, giving him more chance to get hurt with the way the Eagles were rushing, with the way the Titans were protecting. And I think it says something, too, that he was facing all that pressure, taking all those hits and getting sacked 6 times, despite the fact that he looked more mobile yesterday than at any other point, since he has come back from that ankle injury. So it gives you an idea, I think, of just how dire the circumstances were. And I don't, there was only maybe one series, I think, where I said, why are these guys out there? But yeah, Tannehill, I thought was kind of at risk, for a series for no reason. And Derrick Henry too was just, he was running into walls all game long. And if you get a chance to give Derrick Henry a few snaps off when it's clearly not the Titans' day, I thought at least one more series that they needed to be out of that game.
John, always good catching up with you, and fantastic stuff as always. People can read all of your work, Titans at SI.com, and follow you at Glennon Sports. Thank you, sir. Have a good rest of your Monday.
Appreciate it, JJ.
Okay, you guys too. Enjoy that trip back in time if you jump on.
We got the DeLorean fired up and the flux capacitor fluxing currently, so you can jump in with us.
Very good. Sounds good.
Let's see you, buddy. John Glennon, our guest. All right, we come back. There's just so much college football news. Couple things. Okay, there's Vandy news and there's Vol news, and one's pretty good, and one is not so good.
Oh, and NFL news from college, which was a shocker to me.
Dun,
Maybe
dun,
not
dun.
the most, but
Coming up
to me.
next, shocking to somebody. Blaine and Mickey 104.5 The Zone. 3HL coming up next. Just get ready to enjoy the hurricane that is Ron and Babs and Brent. That'll be coming your way next here on The Zone. Lots going on in college football. By the way, I think it would be easier at this point to say who isn't in the portal. There's a bunch of people in the portal.
Oh, yeah, everybody's in the portal. But speaking of college, though, we have to congratulate, though, first and foremost, Heupel, SEC Coach of the Year, right? And then the quarterback.
Hooker
was the SEC
Player of the Year.
Yeah. And it was some other guys on the list, but we're going to leave it there. But
10 wins, Orange Bowl, Coach of the Year, Player of the Year in year number 2. So for people who gripe, is too much. I couldn't turn the team around. What this guy's done, is nothing short of a miracle in 2 years.
Yes, really good job. Really good job. Unfortunately, they had a disappointing game, but the whole body of work that's they put in some work. Man.
If you told people before the season, hey man, sign here, 10 wins, Orange Bowl, every person. Now you said they'd win 10 wins.
I said I was going to win 10. Yeah, I
but
did.
If somebody
I
like,
believed
okay, Blaine,
it, and they did.
Sign here and Orange Bowl, you would have been like,
I'd take that.
We're all signing. Everybody would sign.
I'm gonna take that with the Heupel's paycheck.
Yes, sir, 100%. Meanwhile, at Vandy, Ray Davis and Mike Wright have both entered the transfer portal.
Yeah, the running back who I think he's
yard back.
Well, I think he's an NFL back. When I watch him play, every time I say NFL back.
Mike Wright won both of the SEC games.
Yeah, Wright's. I think he's a wide receiver, to be honest. But he could go to maybe a smaller school and really do really good, continue to develop as a passer. The run options that he can do. If he grows, he could probably pull it off. But the way he runs in the open field, man, it's almost like I don't know if he's a quarterback.
He's their second leading rusher, and didn't even start
at the next level is what I'm talking about. Not to say he can't still be a really good quarterback.
But in college, go play quarterback somewhere and make some NIL money and do your thing, and then go and just athlete your way into a different position at the next level. But I really like watching him play. But
it's not the end of the world. They still have Swan.
Still got Swan, and they seem really high on him.
Well, he's an NFL talent.
Okay,
in my mind.
Anthony Richardson hitting the draft from Florida, no surprise, but he put it out on his
I like him
today.
A little flyer. If he goes first round, the bottom of the first, how about them Titans? Yeah, I wouldn't be. Yeah, they'll be around. They're gonna go in the first round. Of the playoffs, so that'll put them at 18, 19, 20, maybe. I don't know, maybe even further down. But I don't know how much he'll skyrocket up the board, but. As time goes, but man, you can see his upside. He's a special talent.
It will be really interesting watching him go through the draft process and just to hear what all the
because he still has a ways to go, but he is not. You can see he proved to me that he can throw the ball. He got better every game. He threw the ball well versus Tennessee, the Vols. I was like, man, this guy's got it all. He can run. He can make every throw. He was patient. They really developed him. They're the new coach, Napier and crew.
And physically, Michelle said, did we give out the Preds tickets yet? We gave them out, man. But stay tuned. We're always giving out Preds tickets. Physically, he's a different cat.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like, they don't make many of them. And then we'll end with this college football news. Tomorrow we do what caught your attention. We should probably just save this. Scott Satterfield is leaving Louisville for Cincinnati. Louisville and Cincinnati play in the Fenway Bowl.
Is he coaching? Which team is he coaching for? Nah, he ain't coaching either one.
I think that dude should have to just stand in the middle of the field before the game and just look at both teams.
He said he's removing himself from the bowl game.
Myself
and
too.
It's going to be a funky bowl game in Fenway, in a baseball field.
Yes.
ACC to the Big 12, right? Is that right? Cincinnati's going to be in the Big 12.
That's right. He's headed to the Big 12, so he's right back in the action. A lot of surprising stuff this hiring season. Put that at the top of my list.
It's going to get crazy. Between that and the portal. Woo.
Yes, it is. It's going to get crazy for us. We got to transfer out of here. The portal is open. We will jump into it. We will be back tomorrow, though, but 3HL is next.
But in the meantime.
In between time.
Peace. TP.